started.
All right, VA creeper. Let's try e4 again. I'm playing again with the time control of 8 minutes and 4 seconds increment. And I decided to not play c4 for a while. Those games all tended to be kind of similar. Everybody went into the reverse Sicilian. So let's try and get some different games. So this is an ordinary Sicilian. And I usually play the open lines with d4. You can also play with the c3 or knight c3. Oh, this is the O'Kelly variation, which I don't know really anything about, although I did...
Server announcement.
I did hear that actually a c3 is a good move against the O'Kelly. The idea being that somehow this move a6 is not useful in this line, but that's about all I know. So, just words. Let's see, can I take that pawn? Do I want to develop his queen? Yeah, that's a smart move, I guess. For black, I mean. The c3 pawn blocks my knight from developing normally, so he can get his queen on that square and it won't be harassed. And let's just put my d pawn up there, see if he wants to trade more. Okay, he's putting pressure here, but it's not takes. Well, that would give me an isolated pawn. Not the end of the world, but for the moment, why don't I play the bishop there? I'm thinking of just bishop e2 and castling kingside, and I'm not sure what black's plan is here. Let's see. He can try pinning the knight. So bishop e2 is good from that point of view. He's got to develop his kingside here. I don't think he wants to castle queenside. I might be threatening to take this pawn. No, so he takes instead. And the queen is looking at the g2 square, so I have to be careful about developing the bishop to e2 before that is protected. Queen f3, is that a move here? Just hitting the knight. Okay, I want the knight to go back anyway. I think. Do I? Because it covers the g2 square from the view of the queen. So if I retreat knight to f3, of course he could exchange queens. Is that a problem? Knight f3, queen takes, king takes. And then he pushes the pawn. Or knight f3 and he pushes the pawn first. I just go back. I guess I'm not worried about the exchange of queens. It means I won't be able to castle, but maybe the king can find a safe place somewhere here.
Check.
Probably develop the bishop and put the king on e2 so the rook can come out. Yeah, so maybe bishop to c4, aiming at the f2 square here, which is only defended by the king. Then king e2, and rooks to the center and develop this knight somewhere. I guess the knight goes to d2. Okay, that's my plan, and I'm sticking with it. He can harass the bishop there, I guess. Is there a tactic here with checks? Okay, king e2, and then knight to d2, and everybody is happy. Everybody's got a square. So it's a slightly unbalanced position, 3 pawns to 2 on the queen side and 4 pawns to 3 on the king side. Development appears to be about even. He's got 3 pieces out and I've got 3 pieces out. He can castle and get in a rook into the game quicker than me, so maybe he has a slight edge there. Both sides have the bishop pair. And black has a pawn in the center, and white doesn't, but the center is open. So he just shores that up, okay? That actually increases the scope of this bishop. And blocks his knight's development. So where is that knight going? Is it going to... could go to h6 and then to g5. h6, g5 might be annoying. g4, h6, g4. So, but I could play h3 to keep him out of there. I could play h3 now. Also keeps the bishop out of that g4 square. He's going to go for an attack there on the king side. That's interesting. Well, pushing the pawn allows him to open that up. This also limits the scope of this knight. I could consider the move g4 myself just to stop these guys from coming in. Where's that bishop going? Could go back to... could drop back to g3 or could go to here. Let's play it. I don't like the idea of him getting that square, so I'm just going to take it away from him and live with the consequences, which is... okay, so let's get a rook over here. Which rook? Okay, he might have the idea of playing f5, which would weaken this e4 square, but so let's put a rook on the e file and the other rook on the d file and allow my king to come over here to open up lines. Okay, time, let's see, 15 moves, and time is not yet half gone, so, but I generally like to move, spend half my time on the first 30 moves and the other half on that next. Gives me plenty of time for the endgame, but so this is challenging my play here somewhat, because he can open up the H file now. I can't really stop that. So let's see if he wants to open it up. What I can do is just move my rook right back to H1 and force a trade of rooks after the exchange of pawns. So yeah, this pawn structure looks pretty stable over here. But yeah, I think I want to get rid of some force because my king is in the center. It's surrounded by its pieces, so it's not that uncomfortable. But at the same time, so he's going to attack this pawn. Yeah, I have an interesting way to defend. So I was thinking of defending with a knight or the rook, but this is a bit more active as a defense. And then maybe I can move this knight here. Threaten to come into d6 there. So knight to c4 to d6 is an idea. Let's see, bishop to b6 is an idea. He can chase my bishop away. But knight to c4 I think is good, controlling this d6 square at least, so the rook doesn't go there. And with the knight on c4, I'm also threatening maybe bishop b6 here, a check and a skewer. So he trades immediately. So we're down to 1 rook and 4 pieces. Still quite a bit of force in this game, actually. So he kicks the knight. So I could throw in the check first. Or I could put the knight on that square. Knight could go to b6 and then back to here, check. King could go to, so knight b6, king to, oh, that's not possible. Knight b6 and knight here, check. King to d6. I can take the bishop and then he could take either the knight or the bishop. Or I could take here with a double check, but it doesn't do anything and he gets to take my bishop. And there are other ideas. See if I just check here right away the bishop. He can't come back to this square. He can't go to that square. But he can go to the square b7, which is a bit annoying because then I have to move the knight and he can win my bishop. So that's right out. But I kind of like this knight maneuver. You got to keep your pieces active. That's my theory. At some point I could play rook to h1, sort of pinning that knight. Although it has the square. Oh, he wants to get rid of the rook. I don't want to do that just yet. So now knight here, check. He can't take it. So he will move the king, and he could come to this square. And do I have a good discovered check yet? Just taking the bishop with check. That's his bad bishop, actually. I don't know if I want to take it. So should I just although if I get rid of that bishop, it might weaken some of these pawns here. Okay, I got to move. Check.
Check.
I could have traded rooks first and then played that check. I can. Oh, he went away. Okay. So that rook is defended. How about if I chase the knight? Where is that knight going? Yeah, I'm down to 2 minutes and I'm only 23 moves into the game, so I'm not managing my time here particularly well. So I'm going to try and speed up the tempo a bit. These games can last a long time once you get the queens off. There's a lot of play left. Let's see, if I get rid of this bishop, there is the possibility of a sack and winning 2 pawns for a piece. Say, knight takes, knight takes, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, and then that skewers that knight and the rook. But he just has to defend it. But it's hitting this knight too. Might have been a more interesting way to play than this move. So, guess he's stuck for a move here. He can either defend it or move it. Those seem to be the choices. But if he defends with the bishop, I guess I have knight takes, so probably needs to move that guy. Here and here are not good, so that leaves here or here. If he goes to the back row, I guess I can consider... Oh, he defends with the rook. Okay, that makes sense. So now, is this idea working? Say, knight takes bishop, knight takes. Knight takes pawn, pawn takes, bishop takes, and it's a fork of this knight and that knight. Now he can move the knight to defend. But I can take the rook then. I think that works. Let's try it. It's funny how you can find tactics even when there's relatively little force. Even endgames have lots of tactics in them. So. And I just have to be sure he doesn't have a desperado with the knight. If the knight could move with check, I would be in big trouble because my rook would be hanging here. But fortunately for me, my king is away from all the knight checks. So that's why this tactic is perhaps working. He might have found a defense here. So let's see what it is. But right now he has two pieces hanging, this knight and this knight. And if he moves the knight there, he can move this knight to that square. If I take it, he takes the knight, I take the rook. If he takes with the rook, I take the knight. I think I'm still winning. And he's getting down on time. Using the bishop to... This doesn't work. I'll take there, he takes. I take the rook, he takes. And then I take his... Oh, he got everything. He got everything out. So, oh yeah, but I got my piece back and I'm just 2 pawns up. This should be winning. Let's see, where is his knight going? His knight is going to that square or that square. And where are my pieces going here? I need to keep his king out of these squares. So we can play out this endgame. Actually, this is what I like about the 4-second increment, is you do get to play the whole game. You don't end up losing a game on time that you're winning or drawing. Because there's enough time if you have a simple endgame like this. See if he takes, then this is clearly good for me. He's not going to take. So let's... okay. Just want to keep this knight under restraints. He's going to run out of moves eventually. That's what happens typically in these games. So I got to keep his king out from keep his king from reaping my extra pieces here, reaping my extra pawns, and push ahead. So maybe king here, and then check, and then okay. So now he's got those moves with the knight.
Check, check.
Covered by the bishop.
Check.
Check, check, check. And he's got to stand in front of the pawn. I can use my bishop to. Okay, I'll just come forward with my king. Okay, so he's got that square for the knight. I have to be careful here. And where do I want to go? Here, maybe. Push the pawn, and not enough time. there. What I wanted to do was yep, you can blockade that pawn. So that basically I want to keep his pieces tied up. There we go. And I want to defend that pawn. And then I'll start marching this guy in. Okay, so now his king is pretty much out of the game. I need to, let's see, reposition my bishop. Put it here. And then come over and harass his knight. He can't go too far away. And then I can I let him take that pawn? If I push, he takes. I push, he comes back. You can't get back to defend the pawn. That's my theory. And I'm sticking with it. So I push, he takes that pawn.
Check.
I push again. He's just going to harass me some more. Let's see, I don't want to repeat here. So if I go to this square and he takes, I push, he still can't get back to defend the pawn.
Check.
Oh no, is he going to... What's he got? If I go here, he can check from there or there. Missed that that was a check.
Check.
And now the only square he can go to stop the knight, to stop the pawn, is that square. Okay, well that wasn't the most elegant way to win that endgame, but I think it's still a win. So as long as this is not a fork here with the knight, this is a win. Okay, well he's going to play out queen against knight. Queen against knight is not hard to win. You do have to be careful you don't get mated or forked or whatever.
Time warning. Check. Check.
Basically, the idea is to confine his king to a smaller and smaller box. So what I'm trying to do is, first of all, keep my king on a different color square than the queen so it can't get forked, and then
check.
Then manipulate his king over somewhere against the wall or into a corner. Yeah, this is annoying. Still, you got to be able to win these.
Check.
It's not your opponent's fault if you don't know how to play these endings.
check,
You also have the threat of winning his knight. Often a useful thing to keep handy. So where can I go now? If I go to this square, then he goes here with check. This is annoying. He goes there with check.
check,
Or there with check. And I'll go this way.
check,
And this way. So now, where does the knight go? He goes to that square. It's his only square. And let's see, do I have a check here?
check,
So the king is being forced back into the corner. And check king here. And now his knight has these squares, has that square, right?
check,
And what's this? I'm going to run out of time here. I'm getting pretty close here, so just
check, check,
so I just need to move my king somewhere I don't get, there we go. I think I've got him finally. There's a mate threat, and if he moves the knight, I take the knight,
check,
and he has one square to go to. So that's how you mate.
black resigns,
That's how you mate with knight and knight and queen. Queen against knight. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will
checkmate,
be he's showing me how to checkmate quicker, I guess. So I'll be uploading this, and I'll do a postmortem on it, and see you again soon. Bye.